Hello, YouTube in the world. New player here, new game. I got this game for Christmas from a friend, and I just finished the tutorial and I'm about ready to start my first playthrough. I did make a very long video explaining what I was doing as I was doing the tutorial and then started this game. It didn't turn out very well because it was very boring as I was trying to figure out what each process was. And I'm just going to go over what I decided to do before we actually start up the time. I went with support equipment for weapons and equipment, try to upgrade it. I went with trucks because the trucks unlock motorized infantry. It unlocks the division template, like it says. Also, what is GMCCCKW? I have no idea what that is, but I would think toted equipment would be a lot more effective if you're using a truck. Also, I can't get my field hospital or my logistics company until I have the truck. So the truck is all around a good early investment. The rest is just basically research. Went with electronic engineering because I wanted to cut the research time down because some of these times are outrageous. And production, basic machine tools. For obvious reasons, to improve my production efficiency cap and also so I can improve my industry. And of course, one of the next things I'm going to do is work on my construction. I was also looking at, I didn't understand why I'd need synthetic oil. Then I noticed that it's because it also creates a small amount of rubber, which is something we take for granted today. But in the World War II era, almost all the sources of rubber came from this little area. Siam, Java. Almost all of the rubber in the world came from rubber plantations in this area. And Japan caused a lot of problems, and it was ingenuity people in the West and the U.S. that we were able to make tires from petroleum. Didn't do any diplomacy. Trade, I had a trade for rubber already. Construction. From what I understand of this game, the civilian factories operate almost like money. Civilian factories, you can use the goods that civilian factories make to trade for goods that raw materials that you need, be it rubber, tungsten. Well, let me back up and just show you that. Rubber, tungsten, oil, aluminum, steel, and chromium. Those are all that you need for your industry to build your weapons of war. But also, and I consider this to be more important, the more civilian factories that you have, the more factories and the more improvements that you can do to your country itself, be it infrastructure, airfields, anti-air, radar, military factories, naval dockyards, etc., etc., etc. So I'm going with the repeating pattern of two civilian factories, one military factory, a dockyard infrastructure, two civilian factories, a military factory, a dockyard, and an infrastructure. I'm doing this at this point in time, and I'm not worried about the condition of the islands in the Pacific. I haven't even looked at them yet because I really do doubt that, even though I did not check historical accuracy, so really, Japan could decide to declare war on me immediately. But I don't see that as a likely event. So I think that since I'm all the way over here in the New World, I'm pretty safe for a while. So I'm not going to worry about it just yet. And I'm just going to try to build up my economy. And another reason why I'm going to try to build up my economy, so I can also build up more military factories, is because of this little guy right here. Low manpower. I can only... Where is it at? Here it is. Disarmed nation. Recruitable population, 1%. So even though my total population is 125 million, I only have 82,000 free manpower, and I have a total manpower eligible of 626,000. Half. Why is it half? Oh, I lose another 50% because of the Great Depression. So, yeah, I've only got access to 300,000. And I only have 80,000 left. So, damn. I'm sorry. I only have access to 600,000 instead of 1.2 million, and I only have 80,000 left. And I can't do anything else until I get rid of isolation. So I cannot upgrade to anything else. And there's various requirements. At war, over here, what is it? World tension, that's what it's called. World tension. Sorry, I'm still learning the game. I mean, I literally just finished the tutorial a half hour, an hour ago. And I can't get rid of my isolation, and this slows me down economically until there's actually a change in world tension. And it requires, what's these things called? Political power points. Political power points. I am playing recruit level because this is my first playthrough, and I just want to enjoy the magic of learning the game. And Paradox games, usually the differences are minuscule. They don't exactly, they affect the player, generally speaking, with Paradox games. The difficulty that you select, they affect the player and they don't affect the AI. So my build up should be a little bit easier at this level, whereas if I chose the max difficulty rating, it'd be a little bit harder. But I'll be facing the same AI, and they'll have the same abilities no matter what. So I expect to make a lot of mistakes, and this will give me a chance to bounce back and hopefully keep the game going. But like I said, because this 82,000 limited manpower, I am not recruiting any troops, so that's why this is staying right there. Production. Oh, here it is. Production. No tanks. One little old school World War One aircraft. Building a lot of infantry equipment. Well, not really a lot. 28 a day right now. Support equipment. And towed artillery. Basically, because my logistics over here. Those are the three that I'm down. I did turn around and build convoys, even though I'm up 400, because I want to keep one consistent. Hopefully, if I just build with one, I'll never end up in a situation of want or need. I didn't go too heavy and serious on my Navy, though. I went with some light cruisers, because that's one of my newest models. Some heavy cruisers. It's an older model. Submarines, which I think are great. U.S. submarine fleet was drastically overrated. So I'm hoping that this will carry through in the game. And destroyers, because obviously if I'm going to be building a lot of convoys, I'm going to need to worry about the U-boats. And to a lesser extent, the Japanese submarine fleet, because they actually did have one. And that's something else why I expect to screw up in this game, because I'm familiar with the actual aspects of history, and it's difficult to recreate how things actually work in history. So expect me to go off every once in a while yelling and screaming about something being bullshit because that's not right. I did not turn around and move any of my starting troops around. Somewhere one of these buttons there's to actually review my forces. I won't work. Oh, here it is. Army. And I have a mix of regular infantry divisions and National Guard units and garrison units out in the islands. I'm not too worried about it right now. Many of these units are actually have a very weak fighting strength, and that is most likely due to my deficit of infantry equipment. That's my guess. Well, let's get this bad boy rolling. And see how it works. Oh, we're already having events. Oh, unfulfilled. Oh, so Brazil gave someone else preferential treatment. They're only giving me 7 rubber. I'm not too worried about it. I only needed 1 rubber. May have to look up why and how that happened. A little bit about me. I decided to start recording these videos because an ex, even though she was also a gamer, she would just sit there and watch me play games. And I was like, why do you do this? She's like, said, your commentary half the time is more entertaining than the game. So let's see if I can recreate it, or if it was just her biased opinion that made her say that about my playing style. I have a bachelor's degree in history, and I specialized in Germany, Russia, 1917 till 1950-51, basically, and that's why I was given this game as a birthday present, because I thought I would find it exceedingly interesting, which maybe if it wasn't a Paradox game, I would find it exceedingly interesting. What did I do that for? I'm arguing with the program to actually do the recording, so don't mind me. So far, to say it's an interesting concept. I've never played any of the other Hearts of Irons games. I have played a few other Paradox games. I'm sure I got a few Paradox games in my library. As I said, I played Italy in tutorial. This is the first full game that I will have played. I chose the USA because I'm going to make a lot of mistakes along the way, and I didn't want to deal with the limitations of playing Italy. I didn't want to deal with the headaches of playing the USSR. And this gives me my little safe space. Forgive me for saying it, but yes, it gives me a safe space. I can sit over here in the New World and enforce the Monroe Doctrine and tell Japan, stay over there. Tell Germany to stay over there. And I can play isolationist. Or so I like to fool myself that I can do. We will soon enough find out how well I do. Oh, I chose reaffirm the Monroe Doctrine because I didn't know what to choose, to be honest. I've spent a lot of time looking at the tree here, discussing it with myself, debating it. Of course, one thing I do want to do as soon as possible, I want to get extra research slots going. I played with the idea of trying to become communist or fascist, but there are little things that, like right here, I have to be a Democratic ruling party to get this. and then you have to be at war before you can even go down this tree. So I would lose out on a research slot. I started with only 4 slots. One doesn't appear too hard to get. I come down here, the WPA, and there it is, right there. That one doesn't seem too difficult. I do have to wait until world tension is at 75%. I don't know what it's going to take for it to get there. But we are going to find out. I got it on a 3-speed. Maybe I should speed it up just a little bit faster. I really found interesting was war plans. Orange, red, white, and black. Which basically you can push the U.S. and try to break the isolationism. Push the U.S. into war with one of the major powers. This is something that I haven't worked out quite. I'm guessing if you don't have anything to do that you would use one of these continuous focuses. Which, you know, you don't want to waste your political power, so it does make sense. I'm going to have to jack this up faster because I did not want... I'm going to have to see if I can turn off these changing of days, because I'm afraid it might be a little bit annoying in the video, which I will find out once I end this video. Each video I'm going to go for a 15 to 30 minute range. We are already past the 15-minute mark. We're not speed 4. Still waiting for... Oh! Something to happen. There we go. Maybe I should have hit that one. This way? Yeah. I've got my reaffirm the Monroe Doctrine. Now I can choose to go in the next slot below that, which I basically use diplomacy in each segment of the New World, either neighbors, Caribbean, Central America, or South America, to try to solidify U.S. influence in the area and prevent ideological drift, so basically interference from Europe. Or I could go Bureau of Ships, Air War Plans. I don't think I can do this. No, I can't do that one. What about WPA? I could do WPA and the only reward will be political power. But I can't go to the next step. I'm going to do Bureau of Ships because I definitely need to worry about my Navy. And this will give me some Navy experience. When I end this video, I'll look and see what the Navy experience does. Probably should just keep on moving. Oh, what's this? Remilitarization of the Rhineland. So Hitler put troops back into the Rhineland. I did not check the button for it to follow the same historical events. So we will see how that plays out. Because of my knowledge of world history from this era, I would rather be surprised. If I knew what to expect, it just wouldn't be as fun. What is going on with my research? Okay, I'm 9 days away from my mechanical engineering. During the break, I will probably organize all of my divisions and all of my naval fleets rather than annoy everyone by trying to decide what to go where and how to do it. I did say that I wanted to concentrate on lowering my research time, so I'll stick with that. One thing I did do, I did centralized for where my ships are going to pop up instead of allowing automatic. All of my naval ships, I'm sorry, all of my submarines are going to pop up in Tallahassee, Florida, and all of my surface ships are going to pop up in the Tampa St. Pete area. They are not the biggest naval yards, but I'd rather have them all pop up in a central place, and then I can decide where to send them, because I do have control of Panama Canal down here, so I have easy access to the Pacific. And unless something happens, okay, I'm guessing that 1936 is a slow start. I would have thought it would have been a lot more fun and challenging to start earlier and build everything up. But with the U.S., seems to be a little bit boring, although I do love the attention to detail. All of the little things that they throw out there, and I'm going to be reading a lot more about it just so I can understand the rhyme and reason and how all of these things connect together. And we are almost to the point where I have some research finishing up. So let's go ahead and finish up this research, plan out the next research, and then I will call this one a take. I know, so much for my witty and fun commentary. But like, what in the hell can I really say about this? Basic machine tools is done, and my support weapons, mortars, and bars. And bars are Browning automatic rifles. Alright. Now, this is something that I know I'm going to do construction first, because I'm hoping that construction speed will help the building of my new factories, my civilian factories, my infrastructure, my shipyards, etc., etc. But this is something that I find very interesting right here. Dispersed industry versus concentrated industry. Of course, in the U.S., I really should not have to worry about a bombing campaign. So it doesn't make any sense to go with dispersed industry. But it's not just factory bomb invulnerability that is decreased. Your production efficiency retention. So if you change what's on the production line, is actually increased, but your factory factory output is cut in half. And the max number of factories in state is it's still max factories in the state are still both 20%. It's the output that's affected. I'm gonna have to think about that, play with the numbers. But I did say I wanted construction speed, so let's get that going. And the other one was, I got that one, so it's 1936. There's a massive penalty anytime you go beyond, the farther ahead you go in your timeline. It's like, this would be 6 years ahead of schedule, and it would take 1,700 days to get it. Obviously, that's not worth the trouble. I will try to keep my profanity to a minimum, although I do cuss like a sailor, so anytime I lose my patience and I just start cussing and ranting and raving, don't mind me. That's my nature. I am thinking about this because apparently if I just do that, this is just an upgrade to my previous artillery, which I already have in stock. Doctrines are nice, but it takes forever. And I'm also thinking about Navy, because as I said, I am going to be worrying about my Navy. I will do a Navy. That's all ahead of schedule, so I would need to go destroyer, heavy cruiser, Wichita class, or battleship. I'm thinking destroyers because there is a crossover on the cruisers to where I could literally go for the Class 3 light cruiser and then jump down to the Baltimore class for the heavy cruiser and just skip an entire step and save 160 days. Oh, this is something else I'm going to have to read to compare it. But that's just for my entertainment, my crunching of the numbers, get my geek on. Well, I just want to turn around. Thank you all for checking this out. Hopefully, as I get more comfortable talking to the monitor and sharing all these little stories, I'll get more relaxed and things will flow better. I have to work on my cadence. Not used to performing for an audience. We'll end this here. Like if you would, subscribe, leave a message in the comments. We can make this real fun and make each game a group effort. I think that would be interesting for you to say, hey, why don't you try this? Why don't you do that? And if enough people would suggest something or give thumbs up on a suggestion, if there's a lot of them, then I think I should go ahead and give it a try just to see what happens because, well, hopefully some of you are smarter and wiser than I am. Oh, wait a minute now. I'm sorry, I just noticed I got some world attention already. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. Let's end this here.